Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another live stream Tuesday, and we were starting with a long walk tonight. Thank you guys over on Patreon for requesting Art Not Commerce again. I think we played that video on the very first live stream of 2022, so it is back again. So let me see who's in the live chat room tonight. Immediately we've got Jennifer, Carla, Chris, Lynn, Suzanne, Bob's in there, Jennifer, Steve, Suzanne again, Karen, Laura Lee, Chris and Tom as well, Vince in the house, Laurie and Francis and Michael, and Neil's in the house as well. So great to see you, Neil, and shout out to the moderators, as Neil is one. You'll be seeing Susan and Dennis in there, as well as Carla and Laurie. The moderators' names are in blue, so that's what you need to look out for. And they've got a wrench next to their names. But Just to thank you, first of all, for letting me know that everything's working, because I don't have a live feed on my screen. I used to, but I've stopped doing that just to try and get as much bandwidth as possible for putting the stream out there and not spending computer power on downloading my own stream and watching it at the same time, because it all goes across the same connection. So thank you guys for letting me know that it's all working, because if it's not working, I need you guys to tell me, because I'll just be talking and it might just be buffering the whole time, or if it just totally stops working, then I assume that the comments will stop as well. But sometimes the video portion stops, but the comments keep on going. So as always, let me know if there's any problems in tonight's live stream. But so far it looks like, fingers crossed, there's an excellent connection. But I don't think you can really trust, unfortunately, what YouTube says, because sometimes it says that and then it's not working at all. But let me get the names of my patrons up on screen, because they make everything possible on the channel, these live streams, the analysis videos, and a massive shout out to them. You know who you are, and they request the videos for tonight as well. Which leads me into the covers that are being voted for tonight. We've got I Just Died in Your Arms. That's the first option. And the other option was Don't Slow Down by Mr. Mister. So you can vote for either of those depending on which one you want to. Obviously, it's going to be my version of it, one of my covers. So get voting in that poll, which you'll find in the live chat room. Let's get everything on screen. So the likes goal for tonight is set at a nice round 300. So it's getting up there again into some silly numbers. But if you can leave a thumbs up as you come through the door, that would be fantastic and much appreciated, because it helps this live stream to get out there, the whole channel to grow as well. So we are at, so far, 133 likes. So thank you guys who've hit that thumbs up already. Maybe we can get a little spike of the likes going on at the beginning of tonight's live stream. And donations wise, I know that we have had a couple of donations that came in beforehand, actually a few, so I will address those in a second. Let me get the percentages up on screen. 35 to 45% goes to YouTube, and 3 to 5% goes to PayPal when you donate through PayPal, and you can find a link for that in the description below. And the YouTube donations are the ones at the bottom of the live chat room. It's called a super chat donation, but those are the ones that I'm going to address to begin with. And then I'll get into the PayPal ones as well. But there was one donation that happened in between live streams. So I'm going to address that, because I do like to mention all of the donations that come through. And even on non-live stream days, I still mention the ones that come through on non-live stream days in the live stream. So if you do send through a donation, then you'll get a shout out anyway on the live streams. Anyway, let me get into the donations on that super chat window first. Hopefully none were made in that transition between going offline and online, because YouTube makes them disappear. But let me have a little look. And we had a donation that came in from Orlando for $2. So thank you for that, Orlando. Straight out of the blocks. And the message was the 18th like. Keep spiking the likes with lots of thumbs up. So thank you for that. Great idea. And we always have a plug of the mug when we have that early donation from Orlando. And if you want to get your hands on said mug, or the other designs of the mug, the hoodie, t-shirts, all that stuff, the merchandise over on spring.com, then head to the description below. There's a link there. But also a tray underneath this video. There might be, depending on what you're watching on, whether you're watching on a tablet or a phone or a laptop, then you'll be able to click straight on an item underneath, and that'll take you straight through to the store. So even if you click on an item that you don't want, it will take you through to the store where you get all of the options of the items, because only a few can be listed underneath the videos. I think there's maybe 12, something like that, maybe less than that. But anyway, that's what you want to do, to go through to the store. So, the next donation that came in from Paul was for $5. Thank you for that, Paul. And the message was, happy to be a part of this family. I am very thankful to you, Phil, for bringing so many folks together. Please spike those likes, all y'all, with a smiley face and a thumbs up. So thank you for that, Paul. Great idea again. And, I mean, thank you guys just for joining me on the live streams. Just a part of the week where we can join together in live conversation rather than everything being offline. Also live streaming on Saturday nights if you're new to all this kind of stuff. 12 midnight Greenwich Mean Time, same place. So, mentioning about next week's live stream, all that kind of stuff. When we do the pick roulette, and I'll mention this a little bit later as well, when we hit the likes goal for the pick roulette, such as tonight's target being 300, if we hit that target, then when you enter the pick roulette, your name will be on the wheel for the next week. So the next 7 days. So it's not going to be on the Saturday of that week. It'll be the next week. Tuesday live streams and Saturday live streams are two different events. So if you want to double your chances, I always say join in on a Tuesday and a Saturday, because then your name can be on the wheel on a Tuesday and a Saturday. But if you only tune in on a Saturday, then your name will only be on the wheel on a Saturday, and same goes for Tuesday. So just to mention that. Anyway, Jennifer's donated $10 as well. Thank you for that, Jennifer. The message was, Phil, is there another Chuck Berry song you would like to do? What acts from the 50s and 60s did you ever like? Thanks. So thank you for that, Jennifer. And another Chuck Berry song, Roll Over Beethoven. Why don't we go for that one? I know that a lot of people will just say, well, it's 12 Bar Blues, very similar. I mean, you could say that about Chuck Berry, that a lot of his songs were very similar, the 12 Bar Blues, but I mean, that one especially, yeah. I think people will recognize, even, I think if you listen to it on YouTube, I think there might be a live performance where it's pretty much the same intro as Johnny Be Good. I mean, just the same lines, and then 12 Bar Blues, very much the same thing, but changing the melody of the vocal over the top. So anyway, I'll just go for that. And what acts from the 50s and 60s did you ever like? So I wasn't around in the 50s or 60s, unfortunately. I think with my hair, I might have got away with it a little bit more than having this kind of hair in this day and age. But I think the artists from the 50s and 60s, that's just going to be my mum and dad who were listening to them. And my parents would have been in their teenage years in the 60s. So I think pretty much anything from before then, I didn't really have a lot of exposure to when I was young. So I would say, obviously, the Beatles. I mean, my mum probably more on the side of Motown, like the Supremes, Diana Ross, Jackson 5, of course, and then getting later, pretty much in the 60s, I would say that Jimi Hendrix, of course, and getting into the 70s, pretty much my dad's taste in music, like Jimi Hendrix into Boston, into more rock bands. That's where his record collection then took me. But my mum used to just listen to the old classics. Lionel Richie as well, getting more into the 70s. So yeah, there's just a massive mix of lots of different bands. And it would tend to be bands and artists that would maybe have one or two songs of at a time. And it would be, I guess, what you'd call like a mixtape. So there'd be lots of different artists on the same tape, and it would just be random. And it wasn't like a tape that had a particular genre on it. It was just lots of different genres just thrown on a tape, like Van Halen as well, when we're talking about late 70s, getting into the 80s. So yeah, that's when I started listening to more guitar type music and guitar, lead guitar, bass music, getting into Gary Moore, all that kind of stuff. But yeah, it's really from my parents, so totally, totally different with the style of music and a total mix of lots of different artists. So I think that was good for me growing up to be able to listen to lots of different genres. I know that some parents of kids are really into one particular genre and their kids only ever listen to that, and then they grow up just loving that genre and not really listening to anything else, which is fine. But I think it's also helped me as a musician to appreciate lots of different styles of music. And I mean, even getting into musical theatre, because I've said about The Sound of Music and how my parents are huge fans of that and used to watch that quite a lot when I was younger. So I would have the exposure to the musical theatre side of things, where the singing is totally different, and classical music as well, Pavarotti, the three tenors, all that kind of stuff, where the vocals are so different to the more mainstream pop songs that were being played in the car. So I got an appreciation of those different voices, and obviously at the time I didn't know about that, it was just their vibrato and diaphragmatic support and all the things that they were doing, but I just knew it as a different sound. And that's why I said about Meatloaf, when I first heard Meatloaf in the car, it was totally different to everything that I'd ever heard on that particular tape, or the different tapes that we had that we played in the car. And it was that mix of musical theatre with the dramatic singing, the vibrato, the control, the chest voice, and all of that belting that he did. Just such a huge voice just thrown in there with the compositions that were like a story in itself. It wasn't just 2 or 3 minutes, or like with the Beatles, just 2 minutes worth of song. I mean, Bat Out of Hell was one hell of a story, and just in length as well. We're talking 7 or 8 minutes. So yeah, to my ears that were so young, probably, I don't know how old I was, maybe 8 years old, 9 years old, hearing that was something totally different for me. So of course I took an interest in that. But anyway, thank you for that question, Jennifer. It's something that I could talk about. I think the problem sometimes with these live streams is I start talking about lots of things, and especially when there's a question about things like that, the bands I used to listen to or my parents used to listen to, I start talking about lots of bands and lots of artists, and then before I know it, it's already 1:15 and then we have to call it to a close. But thank you, Jennifer, for that question. And I am just going to refresh my screen. Hopefully it's not going to totally ruin everything on the screen as you're watching. But there, I've clicked the refresh button. And oh, by the way, I've just totally forgotten to do this, because while that just does a quick refresh, we have the celebration for tonight, which is 231,000 subscribers on the channel. So thank you everyone for subscribing. I believe this is another back-to-back celebration stream, maybe. Did we have 230 on Saturday? I can't remember. I can't remember. It's easy for me to say, but I'm not sure whether it was a week ago that we did that, and then it's within a week we've got another 1,000, but maybe it was Saturday. Anyway, a huge goal or total, or I mean, I said that the goal was 230, which was a huge goal, but a huge target of 231 we've now hit. We're going to see where we end up, but thank you everyone for subscribing, for hitting the notification bell as well, getting notified for all of the videos, and just commenting, watching the videos and requesting videos, all of that stuff. Thank you so much guys for that. And the crowd should have stopped exactly now, so it means that when I get rid of this, they then get triggered to come on again. So let's get rid of them. But anyway, thank you guys for your support over here on YouTube. It is amazing, and it's great that we've got so many as part of the community now on the live streams, but also just in general on the channel. And if you want to get involved over on Patreon, I always say that this is the foundation of the channel and supports everything that I do here on YouTube, because I'm sure a lot of you know that here on YouTube, if you use anybody else's song, even with the isolated vocal videos that I do, because the record labels use the same, it's not an algorithm, but they use the same technology that is used to isolate vocals, they can use that technology to copyright the videos that use isolated vocals of their artists' songs. So even with those ones, those are still copyright claimed, which means you have adverts on them, because the publishing company and the record labels put adverts on my videos so that they make money from the ad revenue for my videos, which means that, yeah, as soon as you cover somebody else's voice or somebody else's song, you don't get any ad revenue for those particular videos, and that's why I'm sure you guys notice that there are a lot of videos on the channel, but it's either having that and just accepting that, yeah, the publishing company is going to put the adverts on there, but at least you guys can watch my videos rather than having them not on at all. I'd rather there be just adverts on there and you guys get to see it rather than removing it at all, and actually removing any of the audio and the voice, because I feel like being able to hear the voice even isolated and hear the song is a really important part of people learning about the voice, so that you can start to attribute what you see on the screen to hearing the voice, so you know about their vibrato and their range, for example, when we have the piano on screen. So I think it's really important. But anyway, long story short, patreon.com/Wings of Pegasus. That's why it is the foundation of the channel, because all of you lovely people over there support me in a sense where I can buy things that I need in order to run the channel, and buy things for the interview that I'm going to be doing next week. And I posted a picture for you guys, was that last night? I think it was, of the case that I bought to have my cameras in there. And yesterday it was an admin day, so I spent that answering emails and doing CDs, getting the orders up to date. But also yesterday I was cutting out foam from this carry case that I've got, so that it all sits snugly in there. It's protected, so that I can now carry that and keep everything safe, because I've just got all of the cameras and the lighting and the tripods and everything that I need for next week's interview that I'm going to be doing with Phil Palmer. So that's another thing about Patreon. I always update you guys every night as to what's going on, whether that be the post for the video that night, or if I'm not doing a video, just letting you know what's going on. So I will keep you guys in the loop as to what's happening with that interview video, when it will be released, all that kind of stuff. It's probably going to take me a fair amount of time to edit all the 3 angles together, and yeah, not to mention just the amount of time it will take for Phil to get over here and for me to chat to him and for us to chat about various things. Anyway, head over to patreon.com/Wings of Pegasus if you are interested in becoming part of the channel and supporting it on a foundational level. Anyway, where was I? We were having a look at the updated, and it did actually miss out a few donations. Let me have a look at this, because it looks like we had a donation that came in from Jennifer. Thank you for that, Jennifer, again. So this is for $5, and the message was, if you could do any Winter Olympic sport, what would you like to do? So thank you for that, Jennifer. And I would have to choose probably skiing. I don't know, maybe downhill slalom, something like that. But then again, I guess what I would be suited to, or what I would have been suited to if I was to have got into Winter Olympics when I was young, would probably have been the bobsleigh, when you have to, I don't know what you call it, but the bobsleigh where there's either 4 of you in it, or I think there's one where you either do it by yourself, or there's 2 of you. I'm not sure how many people do it or how many versions there are, but tobogganing, is that a word? Is that something I've just made it? I don't know. I don't know the term for the sport that I'm thinking of, but it's where you sprint at the beginning and you push it along the ice, and it was like the movie Cool Runnings, where the Jamaican bobsleigh team is called bobsleigh, because that just popped into my mind, where they entered into the Winter Olympics. But anyway, it would be that, because I was very fast at running, and that's probably an advantage when you want to get a good start in that particular event. But I think slalom skiing would be good. I have to learn how to properly ski. I have been skiing a few times, but my technique for skiing is basically just point my skis down and hope for the best, and just see how fast I can go, and then fall over to stop. I did try and stop. I used to do a little bit of ice skating at school, so it's the same kind of principle to when you want to do a sudden stop at ice skating, you just turn your skates horizontally. So that's just what I used to try and do, but if that failed, I just fell over, and that brought me to a stop. So it would probably be something like that. And my nephews have just been skiing. They're very lucky indeed. So I would maybe go skiing again in the future, but I would have to be fully fit, and I would definitely learn how to ski properly if I was to go skiing again, because I know the last time, either the last time I went skiing or the second to last time I went skiing, I was going so fast that I lost control and it was like a whiteout, so I couldn't see that there were bumps, and quite big bumps. So I got launched off a bump, and when I was in the air, if I had any experience, I would have been able to put my weight forward in order to counteract the fact that I was in the air. But of course, I didn't know how to do that. So I just kept rotating backwards and my skis were going up in the air and I was flying through the air very fast. And the only thing I could do is put down my arm to try and stop myself or break my fall a little bit. And yeah, I luckily didn't break anything, but I did do some damage to the tendon of my thumb because I bent it right back and then it snapped back on contact with the ground. So it just bent all of my finger the wrong way and I kind of felt it go the opposite way to what it should. But the bones didn't break. It was just literally the tendons that got overstretched. So yeah, that took a little while to heal. But I mean, back then I could get away with it because I wasn't really, I can't remember whether it's my left or my right hand, but I wasn't playing guitar or doing videos every single night, so I could get away with just not playing for probably a week or two after I came back from skiing. So yeah, bad idea to have that kind of speed when you can't see any hills. And one of the guys who was an instructor who was on the slope came over to me and said he couldn't speak English very well because he was saying something like too fast. It was like très rapide or something like that. Très rapide in French or rapido in Italian. I can't remember where the slope was. But anyway, he was trying to say I was going too fast. And he would be right. So I think if I was going skiing again, I would have lessons to make sure that I didn't get injured, because that's the last thing. I want to go to enjoy it, not go to injure myself so then I come home and I can't play guitar anymore or anything like that. So I'll definitely go back a lot more, or go back skiing a lot more slowly than I used to, just being a bit more careful. But anyway, that's what I would do. Maybe one of those, slalom or bobsleigh, one of those ones. But anyway, thank you for that, Jennifer. Stardust Unicorns, support band to Wings of Pegasus, have donated again $5 Australian. Thank you for that. And the message is spike the likes, people, with a thumbs up. Great idea. If you can leave a thumbs up, that would be much appreciated. We're aiming for 300 likes tonight and we're at 208. That means we need 92 likes. It's a little bit easier for me to work out being at 300. Being 295, that was throwing me off massively. So it's great to have 300 in there, because now it's 92 my brain, and now it's 90. So very easy to follow. Great idea there from Stardust Unicorn. Hit that thumbs up as you come through the door, would be much appreciated. Or even if you haven't yet, hit that thumbs up. If you're watching this on catch up, you can do that as well. Hit the thumbs up. It all really helps the channel to grow, for more subscribers to come along. And that's the thing, that even during the live streams, we do get a few people subscribing. It seems to just be a constant thing that's gradually going on in the background all the time. So if you are watching this live stream and you're not subscribed, hit that subscribe button, hit the bell, all that cool stuff, tick the box and get notified for all of the videos, because then when I'm doing a special video like next week with Phil Palmer, session musician with just about everybody, it's going to be a really cool video. So you don't want to miss out on these little videos that we have that are also on the channel that do pop up now and again. And it depends what happens in the future. Maybe this can be something that I do more regularly here in the studio, having guests in. If they are in the UK at any point and they're close to London, then they might be able to pop in here and we can have a chat in the studio and have that kind of video as well. But we will see what happens. This is going to be the first one of that type that we're going to do. But the good thing is that I've made a bit of an investment into the cameras and the lighting, so that if an opportunity pops up in the future and any bands or artists want to come along and join me in the studio, then they can do. Anyway, we will see what happens. But it's all really going to just be about this first one. I'll see how we go with the filming and the editing and see what it looks like in the end. So anyway, thank you for that Stardust Unicorn. Donna has donated $10 as well. Thank you for that, Donna. And the message is, I love your enthusiasm. So thank you for that, Donna. And I'm not really sure what to say about that, but I think it is easier to be enthusiastic when you've got an audience that you're talking to, because you can relate, or you can bounce off the audience that you know you're talking to, rather than sometimes when I used to do a live stream and you know that there's nobody watching. It's very difficult just for the interaction to have that. And it's a similar thing on stage. I think when you're playing to nobody, like when you're rehearsing, it's very difficult to put yourself in that space where you are putting on more of a show and you've got that interaction with a crowd. So I think it's probably the same kind of principle with the live streams. But so thank you guys for joining me. And just looking into the live chat room, because Lauralee says curling, which actually is something that I would like to do. So maybe I should choose that as my winter sport, because that is when you go along the ice and you have to push this stone, and it goes along the ice and you have to get it within a particular target. So it's all about feel and judging it and spinning it the right amount. And then you have to do this thing where they've got like, I don't know what it's like, a brush. And when you want it to go further, you have to brush like a maniac, and they go, it's something like, no, or hard or something. They shout out something and they go mental trying to tell the other person to make it go further. And they do that to the side when they want it to curl more. So yeah, it's quite fancy, but quite an intense thing when you're trying to make it go a little bit further. But that's just something that I would like to have a go at, to see, because it seems like a really difficult game, and I do like event, not game, but I guess it all started from a game, but it seems like a difficult thing to do, and I am attracted to things that are challenging. I always like to, hence why I started playing golf, because getting a little white ball in a tiny little cup about 500 yards away, I just like the challenge of doing that, even though, yeah, it can be very frustrating sometimes. But obviously I've been out of action with golf for at least a couple of months, however long this has been going on. So I'll be getting back to that hopefully in the future at some point. But yeah, we will see. By the way, wrist update. I actually did one video without this because I'm cycling, taking it off and then leaving it on for a while when it starts to feel like it might be getting a little bit like it needs support. So I'm trying to cycle it just to have a little bit more flexibility in my wrist rather than keeping it just so solid the whole time. And it seems like it's getting better, so fingers crossed it won't be too much longer. But I know it's now a case of tendinosis rather than tendinitis. When tendinitis, like I said on the last live stream, is something that takes a lot longer. It's basically just having tendinitis and being an idiot and spending a couple of months, maybe a few months, still working out, lifting heavy weights and just ignoring the pain, thinking, oh, it'll go away, but that's actually just damaging the tendon more and more and more, so that now it's going to take a lot longer to recover. But like I said, it's had about 2 months worth of treatment, or just keeping it solid. So hopefully, I'm going to think maybe in a few weeks' time we can get back to doing something. I really hope so, because yeah, it's a bit frustrating, but yeah. Now I've learned for the future, if something like that feels, I guess the problem is I've never had it before, so I just thought it was muscular rather than tendon based. But now I know, I will make sure that as soon as I feel something, I'll rest and not keep on exercising. So, and this is the other thing, getting back into exercising. That I've not been doing that for at least a couple of months. So anyway, thank you for that, Donna. And I'm just going to have a look in the live chat room. I'm not sure whether I saw if somebody was saying that it was buffering or not, or the connection was not quite working. It still says an excellent connection here, so I'm going to keep on moving forward with these donations. And it was Jay Smith, maybe John Smith, who donated £90. Thank you for that. That was at 9:07 earlier tonight, so thank you for that very kind donation. And the message is, for sharing that preteen haircut tragedy during the last live stream, I'm still laughing, in brackets. Oh, let me get this up on screen so you guys can see it as well. Let me scroll down to it. I'm still laughing, in brackets, and to celebrate John Williams' 90th birthday, legendary. So thank you for that, Jay Smith. And a big happy birthday to John. I haven't mentioned John in a lot of questions where I've been asked about classical music and my favourite composers. Because I am such a movie fan, John Williams is always way up there with his compositions for the movies that I like a lot. But anyway, thank you for that, John. And let me just scroll up because another one has come through from Tammy for £10. Thank you for that, Tammy. And the message is, congratulations, Phil, on the 231,000 subscribers. I hope all is well with you, with a smiley face, a heart and some rock horns. So thank you for that, Tammy. Yes, everything's okay. Just waiting for my body to recover. Just itching to get back to playing my guitar and doing things. Because the thing is about doing the analysis videos, sometimes my subconscious wants to lean over and grab the guitar to show either a note or to show a technique or show a particular technique that I might be saying about somebody's voice that's really similar to playing the guitar. So yeah, it's just really annoying that I can't pick it up. But I know that I've got to be just controlled and disciplined and make sure that I don't do anything that's going to aggravate it, because that's the worst thing with tendinosis, is doing something where you tweak the tendon again, because the tendon is gradually repairing itself. And when I say gradually, it's like, it feels like 1% a day, and you might still only be at 70%. So you have to just wait for it to do it and make sure that you don't aggravate it to take it back to like 70%, whereas you might have been at 73%. So yeah, it's really annoying, but I know that I've just got to be disciplined and make sure that I don't use it. And then yeah, in I don't know, a few weeks time, probably I'll then try and do something with it on maybe the guitar, try and play something and see how it feels, or do it very lightly. But anyway, yeah, just got to be careful with it. But thank you for that, Tammy. Other than that, everything is fine. Thank you very much for that. And Steve has donated £5 as well. Thank you for that, Steve. And the message is, what is the most difficult song you have learned to play? Why was it so difficult? So thank you for that, Steve. And I don't know. I don't think it's really kind of difficult, because when you get to a certain point with playing the guitar, you pretty much know how your brain learns, and it's just muscle memory. So when you're learning to play something, I'd say, I mean, getting from a feel perspective, I always say about Eruption and Van Halen, I tried to get that as close as I could, rather than just playing. A lot of people do a rough guesstimate of Van Halen and their own techniques that they like to play, so it's not exactly like Eddie did. And having that exact same phrasing is something that I wanted to try and keep similar, rather than do lots of tapping that I like, because my muscle memory has already learnt it and I have a natural propensity again, easy for me to say, but a natural propensity for doing those particular lines with tapping, because everyone's got their favourite lines, their favourite muscle memory, first finger, second finger, little finger, things that your hands like to do. And this is why when people play covers of quite technical pieces, they throw in their own techniques, because they might not gel very well with what Eddie Van Halen did, and keeping it exactly the same as what he did is really difficult, because you have to adjust your own techniques to try and almost impersonate another player, which I always say is the hardest thing to do. So when you're learning to play a cover, I'd say probably when I was teaching, if I was learning a fingerstyle piece that was quite advanced, because I'm not really a fingerstyle guitarist, I have just learnt it to play fingerstyle to teach it, then yeah, there's probably a piece or two in there that was quite difficult to get down, but it was just difficult. It actually wasn't difficult, it's just muscle memory. So it means that you're just constantly doing the same movements over and over and over and over again. And that would be the same for anything you learn. It's not difficult to do, it's just you've got to spend a long time doing it. And that's what I would say to anybody learning the guitar. No matter what you're trying to learn to play, eventually you will be able to play it. 100% guaranteed. If you spend enough time practicing it. Because some people think that, oh yeah, or the great players just play something and they can just do it. they can't. They've spent hours upon hours upon hours every day for months and years to get to the stage that they're at. And this is the same with every guitarist. It just takes that long to get up to that level, and then you can apply the muscle memory that you've built up to that point to then manipulate it to be able to play other things. And say, for example, the muscle memory I've got in my left hand doing lots of different movements means that when I come to play something fingerstyle on the left hand, I'm fine. I just have to work at the right hand, getting the particular sequences that I've got going on there. But again, once you start working on sequences with the right hand, it means that you can start applying that to other songs, and as soon as you've got the muscle memory, you can just start to shift what you're doing, so you don't have to start from scratch. So yeah, it's just time, really. And I'll try and think, while the cover's playing, I'll try and think of a fingerstyle song that I had to learn in order to teach it. And it'll probably be something that's quite advanced on YouTube, because I did teach quite a lot of quite advanced songs. But I will, I'll have to have a think about that later on. But anyway, thank you for that, Steve. And scrolling up, because Deborah has donated £5 as well. Thank you for that, Deborah, in the messages. Spike the likes, and a plug of the mug. So here we go. Plug of the mug. Spike the likes on it, obviously, with the logo on the other side. Thank you for that, Deborah. And where are we at with the likes? At the moment, 259, so we're looking for 41 more likes in order to get us to our likes goal to have that pick roulette next week. So if you haven't hit that thumbs up, it'll be massively appreciated if you could do that now. See if we can get a little spike of the likes going on, as Deborah has requested. Sue has donated £15 as well. Thank you for that, Sue. And it is a straight up donation. How is it already 1:45? You can see on the clock on the top left hand side of your screens, that's where the clock should be. It's 12:42, almost 12:43 a.m. But anyway, we will be jumping into the requested cover because things are moving along so quickly. And let me end the poll as I've just done. We were looking for either I Just Died in Your Arms or Don't Slow Down, and the official vote says I just died in your arms tonight has 65% of the vote. So thank you guys for voting for that one. 235 votes in all, in case you wanted to know how many people voted. So we're going to be jumping into that. We'll jump into it now so that we can try and keep everything organized. In an ideal world with the live streams, what we should be doing is having the cover followed by any pictures. I don't think we've got any pictures tonight, so it means we can get straight into the pick roulette, and then at least have a bit of time at the end of this live stream for you guys to enter into next week's pick roulette. So I always try and leave a bit of time, but sometimes when we run out of time, we run out of time. So anyway, let's jump into the winner for tonight. I Just Died in Your Arms by Cutting Crew, of course. I hope you guys enjoy my version of it, and I will see you guys after this. Rock!
I just died in your arms tonight.
And there we have it. I hope you guys enjoyed that one. My version of I Just Died in Your Arms by Cutting Crew. Been a while since we've had that one on the live stream, so thank you guys for requesting that over on Patreon, and then you guys for voting for it live tonight in the live stream. So let me just get into the super chat donations window, because we have had a few donations that have popped in there. So thank you, Anna, who donated $10. Thank you for that. The message is, Phil, first, you are amazing and talented. Do you mind if I share your videos on social media? Have a lot of rockers on my page. They would love your stuff. So thank you for that, Anna. And yes, you can share away. Whatever you want to do is absolutely fine by me. So thank you for that donation as well. And Jennifer has donated $5 again. Thank you for that, Jennifer. And the message is, what instrument did you have to work at the hardest to learn? So well, it depends. I would say without doubt, if you class vocal cords as an instrument, then it's vocal cords, it's singing. Singing takes ages because it's not something that is like an instrument that you can tune. So it means that with guitar, with piano, you just either hold down a string or you push down a key, and if you're in tune, like if you tuned up your guitar, you're going to get that note. When you try and sing, you're not always going to get the note that you're aiming for. So that's why it takes a hell of... You've got to teach the instrument how to hit the notes in the first place before then choosing which notes you want. So it's that whole teaching your voice to hit the notes and where the notes are. That's what takes a long time, just singing through scales, doing all that. So I would say that, yeah, the amount of time that I've spent singing is obviously nowhere near as long as I've spent playing the guitar, because I started that at the age of 11 and would play multiple hours a day. So that's kind of my main instrument. I'm a guitarist who sings, or that has learned to sing. So yeah, learning to sing for me then took over from playing the guitar, because I got to a point where it was an artistic choice where I thought, what's going to serve me best artistically? Is it getting better at the guitar so that I can now play lots of arpeggios, sweep picking, and play really fast, or play in, different styles? But I thought, well, I don't really want to play in lots of different styles or play really fast. I want to be able to write songs and perform songs and sing songs. So then I decided, right, okay, if I want to be able to sing songs, I've got to learn how to sing. So yeah, I mean, it really came out of necessity. The fact that I couldn't find a singer when I was in my late 20s. So then I thought, right, well, I'm going to learn to sing myself. So it just made sense from that perspective that in order to do what I wanted to do, I needed a singer. And why shouldn't that singer be me? The only problem was that I couldn't sing yet. So I just worked at that for a very long time. So singing, but then behind that, probably piano. But I would pair piano with drums, because those are the two instruments that I've spent the least time on and would like to spend more time on, but I always tend to fall into singing and practicing that and trying to maintain pitch, because I think in my head that I just imagine when I stop singing and stop practicing, I'll lose the muscle memory of where the notes are, so I then have to keep practicing to make sure I can continue to sing accurately. I mean, it might not be the case that I forget how to do everything, or my muscle memory forgets, but I feel like I would rather just keep the ability to sing and not sacrifice that over the top of another. Say for example, I became an amazing drummer, but now I couldn't sing. The vocals are such a huge part and such a scrutinized part of your music and your overall sound. If you're a great drummer and you're a great guitarist, and you might even be a great keys player, but then when you sing you don't sound very good, all of that in the background is usually taken for granted, because you've got to have a great voice that people like to listen to and isn't hitting wrong notes, because that's the first thing people would hear. So you've got to have a great voice just pitch-wise to begin with, and then work out other techniques later. So that would be it. My order would be vocal cords, because I do class that really as an instrument that's so difficult to get the hang of. And then probably keys, and then maybe drums, because drums is something that you're not really putting together anything melodically. You can get away with drums a lot more, especially with the kind of songs that I cover, which are very basic. If you're listening to the drum patterns on my covers, you'll notice how basic they are. It's just a hi-hat, and it's all 4/4 time signatures as well, and just a hi-hat going through, double time. Your foot pedal sequence is really simple, and your snare is on your 2 and your 4 of your bar, so yeah, really straightforward. And then your basic fills as well. So that's it. Yeah, I find that drums, you can kind of get away with it, but as soon as you start approaching more progressive music, obviously then drums start getting more complex, and you've really got to work at it more, whereas I kind of get away with it a lot more with the covers that I do, as you'll have noticed on that particular cover that we've just good example. Listen to the drums on I Just Died in Your Arms, and you'll realize, maybe you don't realize if you don't play drums, but if you do play drums, you'll know how basic that pattern is, and that as long as you can focus on keeping time, then you should be all right for playing most of the drums on that track. Anyway, thank you for that question, Jennifer. And Stardust Unicorn again has donated $5. Thank you for that. And the message is, what is your favourite John Williams movie score? That's a difficult one, but I would have to say Jurassic Park would be my top. Probably then, I don't know, I would go for maybe Indiana Jones, then maybe Star Wars, then Superman, but I'd say top 3, so whatever I just said then. So it was my first one, Jurassic Park, Indiana Jones, and then Star Wars were the top 3. Again, this is something that I then start thinking about all the movies and start thinking, oh no, actually no, but I won't. I will stop that at that point. I mean, I have to say that I do like Danny Elfman, is it, who does the Batman? I mean, I'm talking about the old school Batman, Batman Returns, and the themes back in the 80s movies, and you can start to get a bit of a theme, see a bit of a theme, even though I think Jurassic Park was early 90s, but in the 80s, yeah, Indiana Jones and those kind of movies that had John Williams soundtracks on, I just really I'm a big fan of the movies, but because of the music as well, it's all kind of rolled into one. So that Danny Elfman is rolled into that as well with the Batman soundtrack. So I used to have that, and I used to have these soundtracks that I used to listen to on my Sony mini disc. Who remembers those? They got totally, unfortunately, ruined by MP3 players that came along at pretty much the same time, but the mini disc players were these kind of square discs that you put into like a little square player, and I had a Sony mini disc player, so I got those, but then I got an MP3 player, because then you could store it on this little device rather than having the discs and having to write your own discs. So yeah, that's one of those businesses that you think, well, unfortunately it was a good idea, the mini disc, but it then just got outdone by the technology of hard drives and that becoming so much more efficient. But anyway, I used to have mini discs of classical songs, but a lot of themes, movie themes, that I just have one after the next, and yeah, all of those that I've mentioned were on there. But anyway, thank you for that, Stardust Unicorn again, and M has donated $5. Thank you for that, M. And it's the guy celebrating with the party blower thing. So thank you for that. Just quickly jumping into that PayPal window, because we've had another donation in there, and it is Linda. Let me get this on screen so you guys can see it as well. Linda has donated £4.95. Thank you for that, Linda. And that is a straight up donation. So let me scroll up as well, because that's confirmation that I've got the £5 donation from Deborah. So thank you for that. Right, let's move into the pick roulette. now, because then it will leave us a bit of time at the end of the live stream for you guys to get your names on next week's Pick Roulette. If we hit tonight's Pick Roulette likes goal. But there it is, 360 likes we have done so far, and you can, that's quite a good point, you can keep on hitting that thumbs up if you want to just not only use your thumbs up token, but for the channel to grow and get out there a little bit more and maybe attract a few more people into this live chat room for the live streams. Big mention as well for the Facebook page. If you are a Facebook user and you want to get involved on the Wings of Pegasus supporters page, you can do that, and Vince hosts the after party after the live streams. So if you want to join these lovely people in the live chat room after these live streams on a Tuesday and a Saturday, then you can do. Just join that group, get involved over there, and you will be allowed into that group. So I mean, that is great. That is growing very nicely. Thank you for all of your work over there, you guys that do such a great job on the Wings of Pegasus supporters page. But thank you to Vince as well, and Laura and Carla, for linking me to pictures from the Wings of Pegasus supporters group, but also for pictures that come through to Carla individually, all that kind of stuff. So thank you guys for that. Huge shout out to the moderators as always. And we'll jump into the Pick Roulette now. I haven't picked a top tip for tonight, so we're going to be doing that. And still 0% winning ratio I have on that. So commiserations to anyone who I'm about to pick for the top tips. So let's jump into this, and I'll see you guys after. Rock. So let's get the roulette wheel up on screen, and there it is. If this is the first Pick Roulette that you have attended and seen in the live streams, we have the darker segments here, which are the t-shirts. If we land on one of those, then we have another wheel, which is the t-shirt roulette wheel, surprisingly, and we have whoever it lands on then wins a custom made signed Wings of Pegasus t-shirt. So look out for that. Right, let's have a look on the wheel. Who's going to be? Joe Novak is going to be the top tip, so apologies for picking you out, Joe. There we go. And I mean, maybe tonight's going to be the first night that we're going to actually pick the correct winner. Let me spin the wheel, and there we go. We are spinning. Everything's fine. So good luck to Joe. Good luck everybody on these Pick Roulette wheels. If you want to double your chances of winning, make sure you tune in on a Tuesday and a Saturday, because we have been pretty good at getting these likes goals. So that is fantastic. And the wheel is a spinning. Let's have a look. And we're getting as far as wishful thinking, maybe AR. Or is it wishful thinking, or is it just AR? It looks like it might be. And there it is. Just a single A and a single R. So thank you, whatever that stands for entering the Pick Roulette tonight. And please let yourself be known to Carla in the live chat room. As I always say, you've got to be in it to win it. And if you're not in the live chat room when your name comes up, unfortunately, then you can't let yourself be known to Carla. She can't get your address, and she can't send everything off to you. The Wings of Pegasus signed pick, which you can only get, by the way, from winning the Pick Roulette. So congratulations to AR. Commiserations to everybody else, including Joe, that I picked as the top tip for tonight. But if you want to get your name on the wheel next week, then let me get rid of that and get rid of that, because entries are now open for next week's Pick Roulette, and it's next week's Pick Roulette on a Tuesday. So this is the wheel that will be happening next Tuesday. And in order to get your name on that wheel, we do this, and I'm going to do an example. We type at Carla Murray and tag her in that comment. I agree, like that. and enter. So you'll be able to see it go through the live chat room. You might already see it already, I don't know, but it'll go through here. My Wings to Pegasus post, that is what you want to copy, and there it is going through. Just copy what I've done there, and just copy what everyone else is doing. So it should be going through now. Lots and lots of people typing I agree and tagging Carla's name in there. So you'll get your name on next week's Pick Roulette. So now is the time to enter. It always happens after the Pick Roulettes. So if you enter before that, it doesn't count. I always have to open up the entries, and I have just done that now. Copy what everyone else is doing here if this is your first live stream. But let me just have a little look into that super chat window. And we had another donation in the super chat window. It is Shawnee Key, who has donated $5. Thank you for that. The message is Danny Elfman did the score for the 1989 Batman movie. Prince did the soundtrack. So thank you for that, Shawnee Key. And yes, this was with Jack Nicholson, I believe, as the Joker. Such a classic movie that was. And yeah, so I think that's probably the film that I had the soundtrack from, that I just used to listen to loads. But yes, 1989, so still technically just about in the 80s. Thank you for that, Shawnee Key. And Diane has donated $10. Thank you for that, Diane. And the message is there a particular decade of artists that you have analysed the most? Thank you. And I do not know, to be honest. I'm sure there's probably a decade that I've done the most. It seems like maybe the 60s would be in with a shout. But then I think of I've done a lot of artists and bands that my parents used to listen to, and their influences, their bands that they listened to the most were probably around the 70s and the 80s. So yeah, it's difficult for me to know exactly how many videos I've done in particular years, but it'll have to be somebody going through my whole channel and finding out exactly which video is which decade, and then maybe sticking them all together or adding them up. I don't know myself, to be honest, and there's just too many videos. But thank you for that, Diane. And Laurelie has donated $5, and this was a donation that I didn't see before starting the Pick Roulette wheel, because Laurelie donated $5 saying, I volunteer for tribute, Pick Wheel. So thank you for that. So what I'm going to do is try and get a notepad thing on the screen so that, here we go, I can make a note for the next live stream, and this will be on Saturday. So I don't know whether, Laurelie, you can tune in on Saturday, but I'm making a note of your name for Saturday, and I'll write Pick Roulette. Oh, this is a bad idea because I can't type very quickly. Pick Roulette wheel, and then I just make loads of typing errors as well. So there we go. Okay, that's for Saturday, so I'll look at that when that comes around. Anyway, let me get back to where I was. So thank you for that donation, by the way, and let's have a little look over on Patreon to see what was requested over there. And by the way, if you want to get your name on the live streams, that's all on Patreon. If you become a patron, you'll get your name on there. And let me just, I'll tell you what, I'll quickly put that up on site so you can see it while I access the page, because this is where I ask everybody what they want to see for the live streams about an hour before I go live. So that's why we have the options for the covers, and the different videos that I play are chosen over there. Anyway, let me scroll down because we've had quite a few song requests. We've had Art Not Comments, which we started with, Percy Johnson in there. Amelia, we haven't seen Amelia for quite a while. Joe says any original will do. Percy Johnson again. Okay. And Amelia, I think Amelia has been outvoted by Percy Johnson. So quite a few requests for that. Let's whip that on. And let me get rid of that from the screen. We'll whip on Percy Johnson if I can find it, and I have. So, by the way, last chance to enter the pick roulette for next week. So do that in the live chat room now. Type I agree and tag Carla Murray's name in that particular comment that you do. And I've just reminded myself, actually, good hair day tonight. Somehow my hair has parted directly in the middle, which is great because sometimes one bit of hair wants to go over to the other side and vice versa, and it looks like a total disgrace. But my hair is actually quite organised tonight. But the news is, haircut booked in for next Monday. And that's with a new hairdresser, because my hairdresser that was supposed to cut my hair about 3 weeks ago, something like that, didn't turn up and still hasn't responded to my messages. So I don't know what's going on there. So I've had to find another hairdresser, which I will have next Monday. So hopefully, fingers crossed, she's not going to cut my hair in a really weird way, because it's the first time that she's ever going to do it, maybe not knowing how to do it or how it normally looks. So I'm going to show her probably a picture of my hair from one of my videos and say, just do it like that if you can, and we will see. So certainly it's going to be an entertaining live stream next Tuesday, not only for the pick roulette, of course, but to see what my hair's doing, because I might look totally different. You know, she might take off too much and it comes down to about here, and I have to go through another year's worth of growing my hair, but hopefully that won't happen. Fingers crossed. So anyway, let's jump into a bit of Percy Johnson, and I will see you guys after this. Last chance to enter in the live chat room. Type I agree, tag Carla Murray's name, and your name will be on that pick roulette next week. See you in a second. Rock. we have it. That was my song called Percy Johnson. By the way, you can pick that up over at wingsofpegasus.com/music. You can find all my music over there and the merchandise as well that Carla makes, picks, Wings of Pegasus picks that you can get there, all that cool stuff. Just head over to wingsofpegasus.com. It's pretty self-explanatory. So yeah, with the music and my album, you can get that on iTunes and Amazon as well if you want to. My album called Persistence, but it's better for me if you go to my website because then I don't have to give away a percentage. Anyway, we are going to be calling things to close pretty soon. I mean, we are almost quarter past, almost perfectly timed, 1:15. If I can finish at 1:15, it means that I can still stay on schedule for the whole evening when I get back to all of the comments and messages that I received during the live stream. But anyway, this is the thing about the channel at the moment. As you guys know, the subscriber count is increasing, which is great. And I would say at the moment we're about double as busy as what I would normally refer to as being busy. So yeah, still getting a lot of messages, but I'm just about keeping up with it, which is great. And the admin days certainly help. Just before we do finish, there's another donation that's come in, and this is from Francis, who has donated $5. Thank you for that. And the message is, what is one food you do not like? Probably Brussels sprouts. I don't like those, and that's something that only really comes around at Christmas, so I just don't have any of those. Just not a fan of those at all. I can't really think of anything else off the top of my head. And no, I can't think of anything else. There's got to be lots of other things that I don't like, but I just can't think of anything at the moment, probably because I'm quite hungry. Again, tonight was just a normal dinner. I know that on the last live stream I stuffed my face beforehand with Chinese, but tonight was just sweet potato mash, which is fine, and it's actually quite filling when you eat it, but that's worn off by now, because that was back at about 7 o'clock this evening. So 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, is that 6, just over 6 hours ago. So I had that, maybe with some spaghetti. I had a little bit, and I'm talking about spaghetti and tomato sauce, not spaghetti like you have like spaghetti bolognese. So just a little bit of that, and some sausages. And they weren't really like beefy sausages. They weren't beef at all, but you know what I mean. They weren't like they were more like, do you know, German sausages that are thinner and still quite nice, but not as calorific. You can get some, yeah, I'm not sure whether they have the same makes in the USA and different countries, but I can't even remember the make of sausage I'm trying to think of. Anyway, they've got like really, 100% pork and 90% pork that are just like massive and really filling, but they weren't like that. So I had a relatively, I'd say, small dinner tonight, hence why I'm talking about dinner, because I'm quite hungry. So, but I still probably wouldn't eat a sprout. I just don't like them, the Brussels sprout. Anyway, thank you as well for the donations in the super chat window and the PayPal window. I am just going to look in. Okay, Geraldine has sent me a money request over on PayPal, so thank you for that, Geraldine. So what happens with that is that when you go to the donate page, it says either send or request, and Geraldine, you've clicked on request, and send is the one, unless you want me to send you some money, but unfortunately I can't do that. But anyway, thank you for that, Geraldine. Anyway, I think that's probably to try and make a donation, so thanks for the thought, because it's the thought that counts. So anyway, thank you guys for joining me, and even thinking to join me on these live streams, because it's great to interact with you guys on a Tuesday and a Saturday. We're going to be doing the same thing on Saturday night, 12 midnight Greenwich Mean Time, as always. And have a fantastic rest of the week. Another video coming out tomorrow night. Let me try and give you a preview as to what it's going to be on. Probably Alison Krauss, maybe. That's one that has been requested quite a lot. And I did Alison last week. I think it was literally Wednesday night. It might have been. Anyway, I'm not sure. But that was with that was with Robert Plant. And when I was uploading that video, a rather humorous thing happened where I was watching videos, obviously, of Led Zeppelin, and typing away. And while I was on YouTube, I typed subconsciously Robert Page in the title. So yeah, that entertained me as well as everybody else, because I think, how has that happened? But on Patreon, I wrote Robert Plant in the description. I wrote Robert Plant. I don't know how it just got through on YouTube, but that's something that happens with my brain. Sometimes it mixes up words, even live. Sometimes I'll say a word from later on in the sentence and it will move. I don't know how my brain does it. It moves it further on or earlier in the sentence further than it should be. And it did that, but with the names of the band. And obviously, you've got to know the names of the Led Zeppelin band members to even do that in the first place. So my brain has taken that and moved it around. So anyway, that's really... Unfortunately, I know a lot of you did say, don't change it, keep it the same. But I thought, just for other people who are joining a little bit late and haven't got the joke, it wasn't even an intentional joke, but they don't know how it's gone, then I thought I'd better change it back to actually Plant as the surname. So anyway, I think that was last week, so we might be having that tomorrow night, so stay tuned for that. Anyway, have a great rest of the week. Like I said, stay safe. We're going to be doing another video on Friday night as well, analysis video, and then Saturday night live streaming. So hopefully I can see you at live streams on Saturdays as well as Tuesdays. But if I don't see you then, I'll see you tomorrow night for the analysis video. Subscribe, hit that notification bell to get notified for all of the videos and the live stream, all that cool stuff. Head over to patreon.com/Wings of Pegasus to get involved over there, to get your name at the bottom of the screen during the live streams as well. But I will see you guys hopefully over on Patreon. If I don't see you there, I'll see you at the next video. Stay safe, wear your masks, follow your government's guidelines, all of that cool stuff. Just keep yourself isolated and free from everything going around nowadays with the whole COVID situation. But fingers crossed, hopefully things are on the mend, maybe improving into the future. We will see. And certainly I think that's the case here in the UK with the seriousness of the admissions to hospital. I think those are on the way down, at least the seriousness of COVID and the Omicron variant. But anyway, just stay safe, and stay safe so that you can join me at the next video, and I'll stay safe as well, and I'll see you guys live again on Saturday night. Hopefully I will see you then. Have a great rest of the morning, afternoon, evening, whatever it is where you are, and I'll catch you guys at the next one. Rock!